All right, you bastards. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going deep on Disneyland. We all know the bullshit. Happiest place on earth. Mickey Mouse, blah, blah, blah. But let's cut the crap and dig into the fucked up shit they don't want you to know. We got some intel from the dark side of Wikipedia. And trust me, even if you've been to Disneyland a million times, you're going to hear some shit that'll blow your goddamn mind.
Yeah, Disneyland's got this squeaky clean image. But underneath all that manufactured happiness, there's a whole history of disasters, scandals, and just plain weirdness. It's like they want you to believe in the fairy tale. But trust me, there are some real-life horror stories lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, exactly. Let's kick things off with Black Sunday, Disneyland's grand opening back in 1955. You'd think it would be all sunshine and rainbows, right? Well, think again, motherfuckers. It was a total shit show.
It's wild, right? I mean, picture this. Over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Melting asphalt, broken toilets, and parents chucking their kids over the goddamn crowds just to get on a ride. Even Walt Disney himself called it Black Sunday. It's like the happiest place on earth had a nervous breakdown on day one.
Broken toilets. What the fuck? What were people supposed to do? Piss on Mickey Mouse?
Apparently there was a plumber's strike going on, and Walt had to choose between working toilets or working drinking fountains. He went with the toilets, which makes sense. But can you imagine the stench?
I don't even want to think about it. And to top it all off, Pepsi was a major sponsor of the opening. But guess what? No working drinking fountains. So you got all these thirsty-ass people forced to buy overpriced Pepsi. Pretty shady if you ask me.
Totally. Talk about a captive audience. But hey, it was the 50s and corporate greed was already in full swing.
Okay.
And speaking of greed, let's talk about how Disneyland basically invented one of the most addictive snack foods of all time. Doritos?
Wait, what? Doritos were invented at Disneyland? I thought some dude in a lab coat came up with that shit.
Those little triangles of cheesy goodness were born out of pure necessity. You see, there was this restaurant in Disneyland called Casa de Fritos, and they were constantly dealing with leftover tortillas. So instead of chucking them in the trash, some genius decided to fry them up, season them, and boom, Doritos were born.
That's some resourceful shit right there. Turning trash into treasure. The American dream in action.
It is, though, isn't it? It's like they stumbled upon a gold mine just trying to get rid of some stale tortillas. And the best part is, Frito-Lay, the company that owns the Fritos brand, saw the potential and took Doritos nationwide. The rest, as they say, is history.
So the next time you're shoving a handful of Doritos into your face, remember you're basically eating a piece of Disneyland history. But let's move on to a story that's a little less delicious and a lot more, shall we say, politically charged. We're talking about the time Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev was denied entry to Disneyland.
Yeah, this one's wild. It's 1959, the Cold War is in full swing, and Khrushchev, the big cheese of the Soviet Union, decides he wants to visit Disneyland. Not only that, he also wants to meet John Wayne. Can you imagine the optics of that? The leader of the communist world hanging out with a cowboy actor at the happiest place on earth.
It would have been a fucking media circus, so they let him in.
Hell no. The U.S. government basically shut that shit down immediately. They cited security concerns, which is understandable. But it's also kind of funny to think that they were worried Khrushchev might steal the secret formula for Mickey Mouse waffles or something.
I can just picture him piffed off, stuck in LA traffic, dreaming of churros and Space Mountain. But hey, I guess that's the Cold War for you. Even Disneyland wasn't immune to that bullshit.
It's crazy how even a place like Disneyland gets tangled up in global politics, right? It's a reminder that even the happiest place on earth can't escape the real world no matter how hard they try to create this perfect little bubble.
And speaking of that bubble bursting, let's talk about the times Disneyland had to shut its goddamn doors. We're not talking about planned maintenance or some shit like that. We're talking unexpected shutdowns. The kind that make you wonder if the magic is actually cursed.
Shutdowns, yeah. Disneyland's had a few of those. Some were due to natural disasters like earthquakes and floods, but some were a bit more, shall we say, human-made.
Like the time in 1970 when a bunch of anti-Vietnam War protesters, the Yippies, decided to hold a demonstration right in the middle of Disneyland. They basically shut the whole fucking place down. Imagine you're there with your kids, ready to ride the teacups, and suddenly you're surrounded by riot cops and hippies chanting slogans. Talk about a buzzkill.
It's wild, right? I mean, Disneyland is supposed to be this escape from reality.
Yeah.
And suddenly reality comes crashing in with a vengeance. It's like even Mickey Mouse couldn't stop the war.
And of course, we can't forget about the mother of all shutdowns, the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, that shit shut down the entire world, including the happiest place on earth. Who would have thought that a tiny little virus could bring the mouse house to its knees?
It's unprecedented, right? Disneyland had never closed for more than a day or two at a time before that. It's a testament to how fragile even the most seemingly invincible institutions can be.
It's a reminder that even in a place like Disneyland, where everything is supposed to be perfect and controlled shit, can still hit the fan. But hey, that's life, right? Even Mickey Mouse can't escape the chaos.
All right, so we were talking about shit hitting the fan. Let's get back to the illusion of perfection. Remember those hidden Mickeys scattered throughout the park? They're not just cute little Easter eggs. They're part of a larger strategy to keep you engaged and distracted from the fact that you're basically trapped in a capitalist hellscape.
Wait, you're saying those hidden Mickeys are some kind of mind control bullshit?
Not exactly. It's more like a clever way to keep your brain occupied so you don't start noticing the cracks in the facade. The long lines, the overpriced merchandise, the screaming kids. It's all about creating an immersive experience, a distraction from the reality that you're spending a shit ton of money to be entertained.
It's fucked up, but also kind of brilliant. It's like you're so busy looking for Mickey's head in the wallpaper that you don't notice you're getting fleeced.
Exactly. It's all about creating an illusion of value, making you feel like you're getting your money's worth. And speaking of value, let's talk about the most exclusive, most expensive, most bullshit experience Disneyland has to offer. Club 33.
Club 33. The legendary super secret club that only the elite motherfuckers get to experience. What's the deal with this place? Is it really as amazing as everyone says it is? Or is it just another way for Disney to milk its rich fans for all they're worth?
It's a bit of both, honestly. On the one hand, it's an incredibly exclusive experience. A chance to rub shoulders with celebrities, dine on gourmet food, and basically live like a goddamn Disney prince or princess for a day. But on the other hand, it's insanely expensive with initiation fees rumored to be in the tens of thousands of dollars plus annual dues and a years-long waiting list.
So it's basically a rich people's playground. A way for Disney to cater to the 1% while the rest of us plebs are stuck sweating our asses off in line for a churro.
Pretty much. But hey, it's their money, right? If they want to spend a small fortune to eat overpriced steak and sip champagne with Mickey Mouse, who are we to judge?
I guess you're right. But still, it's kind of messed up that there's this whole other level of Disneyland that most people will never get to experience. Like they're creating a class system even within the happiest place on earth.
Yeah. It's true. There's definitely a sense of exclusivity of us versus them, but I think it goes deeper than that. It taps into this primal human desire for status, for belonging to something special. It's like if you can afford to be a member of Club 33, you've made it. You're part of the inner circle.
Yeah, I guess there's something about exclusivity that makes people crave it even more. It's like the harder it is to get something, the more you want it.
Exactly. It's the same principle behind those limited edition sneakers or those exclusive fashion brands. It's all about creating a sense of scarcity, of making people feel like they're part of something special.
So is Club 33 actually worth all the hype? Is it really that amazing, or is it just a bunch of overpriced bullshit for rich people who have nothing better to do with their money?
I've never been myself, obviously, but from what I've heard, it's definitely an experience. The food is supposed to be incredible, the service is impeccable, and the atmosphere is incredibly exclusive and luxurious. But whether it's worth the exorbitant cost is a matter of opinion.
I guess if you get money to burn, it might be worth it, just for the bragging rights. But for us regular folks, we'll just have to stick to the regular Disneyland experience with all its crowds, long lines, and overpriced merchandise.
Hey, there's still plenty of magic to be found in the regular Disneyland experience. You just gotta know where to look. And besides, who needs Club 33 when you can sneak in a flask of tequila and get drunk on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
Now you're talking. A little DIY magic. That's what Disneyland's all about. But speaking of magic, let's talk about the people who actually make it all happen. The Imagineers. These are the brilliant minds behind the rides, the shows, the entire immersive experience that makes Disneyland what it is.
The Imagineers, yeah. They're like the wizards of Disneyland. They're the ones who take Walt Disney's vision and translate it into reality. They're artists, engineers, architects, storytellers, all rolled into one.
So they're not just some dudes in lab coats designing rides. They're like the creative geniuses behind the entire Disneyland experience.
Exactly. They're the ones who come up with the concepts for the rides, design the sets, write the storylines, compose the music, even choreograph the animatronic characters. They're responsible for every detail, from the smallest hidden Mickey to the grandest fireworks display.
That's some serious creative firepower. It's like they're not just building a theme park, they're creating a whole damn world.
Exactly. It's world building on a massive scale. They're creating an immersive experience that transports you to another place, another time. It's like stepping into a movie, except you get to be part of the action.
That's pretty badass. But it also sounds like a lot of pressure. I mean, imagine having to come up with new ideas and constantly innovate to keep people entertained. It's like the pressure to create magic must be immense.
It definitely is. But I think that's part of what makes Imagineering such a prestigious and coveted job. You're not just designing a ride, you're creating an experience that will stay with people for a lifetime.
So what does it take to become an Imagineer? Is it just about being a creative genius, or do you need some kind of like magical certification or something?
There's no magic school, unfortunately. But there are specific skills and qualifications you need to have. You need to have a strong background in design, engineering, architecture, storytelling, and of course, a deep understanding of the Disney brand and its values.
So it's not just about drawing Mickey Mouse all day. It's about understanding the psychology of entertainment, the art of storytelling, the science of engineering.
Exactly. It's a multidisciplinary field that requires a unique blend of creativity, technical skills, and a passion for all things Disney.
So if you're out there listening and you're thinking of becoming an Imagineer, you better start studying your ass off and brushing up on your Disney trivia. Because this ain't no walk in the park. This is serious magic-making business.
It is, and it's not for the faint of heart. But if you've got the talent, the drive, and the passion for creating immersive experiences, then maybe, just maybe, you could be the next Walt Disney.
All right, let's shift gears for a second and talk about something that might seem mundane, but it's actually a crucial part of the Disneyland experience. The music.
The music. You mean that annoyingly catchy shit that gets stuck in your head for days after you leave the park?
Yeah, that's the one. But it's more than just background noise. The music at Disneyland is carefully chosen and strategically placed to evoke specific emotions and enhance the overall experience.
Wait, you're telling me there's a science behind the Disney soundtrack? I thought it was just a bunch of happy-go-lucky tunes designed to make you forget you're spending all your money.
Oh, it's definitely designed to make you spend money. But it's also designed to manipulate your emotions to create a specific mood and atmosphere in each area of the park. They use different tempos, melodies, and even key changes to trigger certain feelings in visitors.
So it's like subliminal messaging through music. They're basically brainwashing us with catchy tunes to make us spend more money and come back for more.
Pretty much. But hey, it's effective. You got to give them credit for that.
I guess you're right. It's like you don't even realize you're being manipulated because you're too busy humming along to It's a Small World or whatever.
Exactly. It's all part of the Disney magic, the illusion of happiness and carefree fun. But let's be real. Disneyland's not all sunshine and rainbows. Underneath all that carefully crafted magic, there's a darker side, a history of accidents, malfunctions, and near-death experiences that they don't exactly advertise in the brochures.
Yeah, those rides might look fun and exciting, but they're also complex machines that can be dangerous if something goes wrong. And unfortunately, things do go wrong sometimes.
So buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to take a dark detour into the world of Disneyland ride accidents. Don't worry, we'll keep it lighthearted and fun, but be warned, you might never look at Space Mountain the same way again. All right, so we're talking ride accidents. This shit's about to get real dark, folks. We're diving into the underbelly of Disneyland, where the magic malfunctions and those happy-go-lucky rides turn into metal death traps.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that those rides, as fun and whimsical as they seem, are complex machines with a lot of moving parts, and when something goes wrong, it can go wrong in a spectacularly fucked up way.
So what are some of the worst ride accidents that have happened at Disneyland? I'm talking broken bones, concussions, the whole 9 yards.
Well, one of the most notorious incidents happened on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad back in 2003. A train derailed, killing one guest and injuring 10 others. It was a massive PR nightmare for Disney. And they ended up paying millions in settlements.
Dan, that's some heavy shit. A reminder that even the wildest ride in the wilderness can turn deadly in a split second. What about Space Mountain? That shit's always seemed kind of sketchy to me. Hurtling through the darkness at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Space Mountain's had its fair share of incidents, too. Over the years, there have been reports of riders getting injured by loose objects, experiencing whiplash, and even getting knocked unconscious.
Jeez, it's like a goddamn space coffin. But, hey, at least it's dark so you can't see the terror on everyone's faces when shit starts going sideways.
Right. Ignorance is bliss, especially when you're hurtling through the cosmos on a rickety-ass roller coaster.
Speaking of rickety-ass rides, what about those classic kid-friendly attractions? Surely those are safe, right? I mean, you wouldn't think a teacup ride could send you to the ER.
You'd be surprised. Even those seemingly tame attractions have a dark side. Take the Matterhorn bobsleds, for example. Back in the 80s, a woman was thrown from her sled and died. And there have been countless other incidents of riders getting injured from whiplash to broken bones to concussions.
So basically, no ride is truly safe. It's all a gamble. A roll of the dice every time you strap yourself in.
Pretty much. But hey, that's part of the thrill, right? The knowledge that you're risking your life for a few minutes of adrenaline-pumping fun. It's like a twisted form of natural selection. Only the strong survive.
Survival of the fittest Disneyland edition. I like it. But seriously, it's kind of fucked up that a place designed for family fun also has this potential for danger lurking beneath the surface. It's like a dark undercurrent running through the happiest place on Earth.
It's true. But it's also a reminder that nothing is perfect. Not even Disneyland. And hey, maybe that's part of the allure, right? The knowledge that there's a bit of risk involved, a chance that things could go wrong. It adds a certain edge to the experience.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's like if everything was perfectly safe and predictable, it wouldn't be as much fun. There's got to be a little bit of danger, a little bit of chaos to keep things interesting.
Exactly. It's like you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Or in this case, the Mickey Mouse ears.
All right, folks, that's our deep dive into the dark side of Disneyland. We've uncovered the secrets, the scandals, the accidents, the whole damn enchilada. We've laughed, we've cringed, we've probably scarred a few Disney fans for life.
But hey, at least you're going into your next Disneyland trip with your eyes wide open, right? You know the risks, you know the potential for disaster, but you're still willing to take the ride. That's what makes it so damn exciting.
Exactly. So the next time you're strolling through Disneyland, remember everything we've talked about. Keep an eye out for those hidden Mickeys. Appreciate the genius of the Imagineers. And maybe think twice before strapping yourself in a space mountain.
And most importantly, have fun. But not too much fun. You don't want to end up as a cautionary tale in our next Disneyland deep dive.
All right, you beautiful bastards, that's it for this episode of the Deep Dive. Subscribe, rate, and tell all your friends about the shit we're digging up here. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into some other crazy corner of the world. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay the fuck out of those malfunctioning teacups. Peace out.